Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with another brand new PNSO release. This one took a little longer for me to get it than I normally would with PNSO releases, but I awaited this one to arrive on Amazon, and that was definitely helpful as far as shipping and stuff. So right now, I would definitely recommend going through Amazon to grab this if you are interested in getting a hold of it. But as you can see, this is the PNSO Camarasaurus, and I'm really excited about this one because I love Camarasaurus. I honestly feel like I can't get enough Camarasaurus in my life. It's always been one of my favorite sauropods, so once PNSO had announced this one, I was definitely in on getting a hold of this one. And you can see the box art looks pretty much like your traditional PNSO box art does. You've got the PNSO logo and then of course a nice shot of the dinosaur. And then if we actually turn the box around, you're going to see pretty much the same thing on the opposing side, except we now can see the name for the dinosaur and everything. Not really a whole lot else probably going on as far as the box goes, so let's pop this open and check it out. So of course, contained within we have the booklet like we usually do for PNSO releases, and I cannot stress enough how awesome these booklets always are. You usually have, on top of some really cool photography, you always have lots of information about the dinosaur and everything as you move through. They're always worth a read, especially if you want to learn about the dinosaur, about the species you are adding to your collection. These booklets are a great way to go, and as you can see, feature gorgeous artwork of the Camarasaurus. So I really love this stuff. Definitely going to read it. I highly recommend everybody do so if you grab this model. On top of that, we've also got a poster in here, which PNSO often includes, and I have a feeling I'm going to have to readjust the camera and move it up just a little bit so that we can get a better visual of the poster. But as you can see, the poster shows off a Camarasaurus, an adult and a baby, and that is beautiful. Really nice backdrop there too, not like your traditional posters that we see from PNSO. A lot of the time you get more of that forested setting backdrop or something, just making it look like it's almost a still image of days gone by, whereas this one has just a really cool flashy backdrop to it, which is definitely neat. Gorgeous poster as always. And then we've got our Camarasaurus itself, and as we can see, it is still too large to fit in screen, so let's readjust the camera a little bit here. And there we go, there is our Camarasaurus, and man, does this thing ever look nice. It is absolutely one of the single most impressive Camarasaurus models on the market, just straight out of the packaging. I would say just based on the size is very impressive. It is really, really nicely sized, and the paintwork does look really good. The color scheme for this is very enjoyable to me because it kind of still has those darker tones that you would often associate with large sauropods, but at the same time they've added nice elements of flashiness to it, especially with those almost pinkish or reddish tones that they have out there on the tail and up into the neck. So I think the colors look excellent on this. So without further ado, we need to jump to a closer look and check it out from there. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the Camarasaurus, you can see overall the head sculpt looks great if you ask me. We've also got quite a bit of variation of color here to the face. You've got some nice grayish tones. Then you've got some yellowish tones that move around the eye and then up there onto the snout. We can see the nostrils sculpted out. The eyes are painted with a black and then given a nice little white spot there, I guess to kind of insinuate eye shine. The mouth is sculpted in an open position, which is pretty cool. We can see the teeth right there. As you move around the head, you can get a nice look at the teeth. Teeth are sculpted pretty nicely considering they're very small and painted pretty nicely as well. Can't really get inside the mouth too much to really see any detail. It kind of looks like we can make out a tongue in there, but kind of hard to honestly get in there, especially because the jaw isn't articulated, so it's not like you can open it any further to get in there. Basically, we can see the teeth and a little bit of the tongue, but it looks like we've got a pinkish tone potentially on the inside of the mouth, and again, those teeth look pretty good considering their size. You can definitely see the seam, though, for the lower jaw and the way that it was connected, which is kind of surprising. Not something that you usually see from PNSO. It's not super obvious, but you can still see it, the seam is there. But they did obviously make an attempt to hide it. We can also see the ears sculpted out right there, which is really nice. But again, as we begin to move down into the neck of the Camarasaurus, you start to see it's like purplish tones. Now that I have this in more of a light, it kind of looked like reddish tones at first on my review station, but now having it up here in a better light definitely looks more purplish than anything. You can see we have ridges moving along the back of the neck of the Camarasaurus. You've also got some osteoderms poking up here and there, a whole lot of skin wrinkling and folding as you move down. You have some pinkish tones in the underside of the throat, as well as like yellowish tones moving down. And again, the skin detail looks absolutely phenomenal the entire way through, moving down along the course of the neck. There's so many slight small skin wrinkles and folds, as well as very vibrant scales the entire way down. You see the same thing, of course, here on the side of the neck, but it's a little less obvious because the color is darker, so it kind of hides the detail, I think, a little more so than what you see down here. But I would say it's equally as impressive. The paintwork is also really smooth. There is a nice patterning moving down along the back of the neck. You can see a very dark tone, kind of like a black kind of striping down through the course of the neck as you move down, and you see a very smooth transition as we lead into the body to a grayish tone. But what's cool is as we transition to that grayish tone, there's also some greenish tints to this, especially as you move along the back. So a whole lot of variation of color, really slight color differences from PNSO, which honestly is something I feel like they are known for at this point. But as you move down, you can see again all the skin wrinkles and folds as we move into the bottom of the neck into the body. You can make out the muscle definition of the dinosaur as you lead into the leg and shoulder area. You can just see that it's a very strong animal. You kind of make out the shoulder in general. Leading down into that front leg again, look at how absolutely muscular that leg is, and it's very nicely shown off in the sculpt of the figure. You can see the elbow here. Pretty smooth transition from the gray to a lighter tone on the back of the leg. And then as we move down here into the foot area, of course you follow along, you can see how the leg is tensing and again how muscular it is. But as you move down into the foot looks really nice. You've got that big nail here hanging off of the side, which is painted with a brownish tone, which also looks really good. As we move up into the stomach, we have a pretty smooth transition to a light yellowish tone that overtakes a large amount of the stomach right there. You can see nice skin folds and stuff here in the front of the thigh because the leg's kind of pushing into the stomach, and again stretching here, so you see more wrinkling and stretching of the skin over here. But then again we transition back up to the grayish tone, and then more of those kind of greenish tones, and you see more of that patterning moving along, and it's really smooth and natural as far as the application. Like, it in no way looks like paint on a figure. It absolutely looks like body color. Moving back into the hip region, you can definitely make out the hip bone there kind of protruding through the skin. A whole lot of wrinkling and everything going on. As we move down the thigh, you can definitely see the muscles defined very nicely. As we move down the thigh, you've got a few more kind of random spots of that patterning moving down, just kind of trailing off from the larger area of patterning up here. But as you move down, you can see the knee. As we lead down further, there's a nice calf muscle. Again, really smooth transition moving back, and I love the really subtle little additions of color. You can see just a little element of pink right there. Love when PNSO does things like that. And as we continue to move down, you've got a nice foot sculpt down here as well. The toes are sculpted nicely. The nails painted again with a brown like we saw on the nail on the front foot. As we lead back up, we've got a few more wrinkles and creases as we transition into the tail. And again, we start to transition color-wise to that purplish tone as we lead out. We continue to have that patterning as we lead out, though, that nice striping effect. You can see more of the ridges as they start to decrease in size, and tons of osteoderms moving out through the length of the tail, which does have a nice curve to it. If my camera would focus, there we go. You can see the curve kind of curves away from us on this side. As we move along the underside, you can see again the yellowish tones of the underside. We do have a cloaca present here. There is a dark wash on the underside, but surprisingly it's not quite that dark. Like, it's not nearly as dark as I might have expected it to be, or as often as it is on PNSO releases. It still does help to highlight the detail, but I think they could have used the wash a little bit more up here. Definitely would have helped as far as the realism goes, but it does still look absolutely gorgeous. Another thing that's really cool that I almost didn't even notice, it looks like there's a little injury up here. They've even painted it out with a little bit of a pinkish tone. So there's like a slice in the back, maybe a scar up there on the back, right above the hip area of the Camarasaurus, which is actually really quite cool. Looking at it again from the opposing side, we can obviously see the head sculpt. We've seen that already. Moving down here into the neck, you start to pick up those vibrant purplish tones. Again, the patterning moving along the back of the neck. Very nice, elegant neck there to our dinosaur. Nice curve to the neck as well. And again, as we move down into the body, it basically looks the same as what we had seen on the opposing side, except the positioning of the legs is just a little bit different. You can obviously see it looks like this leg is just picking up off of the ground, which again allows you to take a look at the leg without the muscles tensing quite as much as we see on the opposing side, but still tensing a little bit. Like, you can definitely see the muscle definition. But I like that as we move up, you can actually see some slight additions of purplish tones within the grays as well. PNSO always does such a great job of applying so much color to their figures. Really slight variations of colors that, again, just super impressive stuff all the time. But as you can see, leading into the stomach, you can see like the skin stretching off of the stomach because this leg is trailing a little bit more than we see on the opposing leg. And then again, we have the muscle definition and everything here on the rear leg, just like we saw on the opposing side. And then again, we lead out here into the tail, and the tail now curves toward us. But that is absolutely one of, if not the best Camarasaurus that I've ever seen. As far as a size goes, for a length from the tail to the snout, about 15 inches or 38 centimeters. And then for a height to the back of those ridges on the neck, just shy of 9.5 inches or right around 24 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon in the Collect A human being next to our PNSO Camarasaurus, and you can see it's definitely got some good size to it. It's, again, not the largest sauropod that we've seen from PNSO. That would definitely be one of those larger vinyl models we had seen years ago, but it is still, in my opinion, one of the largest overall. Definitely, without question, one of the largest of recent years. And again, for just a few randoms, we've got the Safari LTDU Tyrannus and Schleich Diabloceratops stepping in for a comparison, as well as a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus. Again, all of these figures are going to be a whole lot smaller. And then as far as Camarasaurus goes, we have the absolute classic that is the Safari LTD version, which you can see is significantly smaller than the PNSO version. And we've also got the recently released How Long Good version of the Camarasaurus, and as you can see, the PNSO version is definitely a little bit bigger, not by much, but just a little bit bigger than the How Long Good release. And then for a few random sauropod comparisons, we first of all have the Eofauna Diplodocus, which you can see is way longer than our Camarasaurus, but obviously the PNSO Camarasaurus is significantly larger in pretty much every other way. Then we've also got a comparison with the W Dragon Giraffa Titan, which as you can see is a whole lot larger as expected compared to the Camarasaurus. And then one final comparison, we also have the PNSO Lingwulong, which you can see next to the Camarasaurus is obviously a little bit smaller, but as far as like overall body mass, they're fairly similar. So this PNSO Camarasaurus is absolutely gorgeous, just as I expected it to be, pretty much as I expect every PNSO release to be. I think they did a great job on the sculpt. It may be my favorite PNSO sauropod sculpt so far. I just think it absolutely looks gorgeous from head to tail. Every ounce of this is a masterpiece, if you ask me, when it comes to the sculpt. It's extremely highly detailed, showing off every ounce of movement and skin wrinkle and scale and everything that you would want to see. And on top of that, sports a nice coloration throughout that looks very flashy but still naturalistic. They've done a great job of, as always, applying a lot of variation of color, really small, subtle changes in color and different additions throughout the course of the figure that you almost may not even notice until you actually take it into a nice light and really investigate it. The paint apps of PNSO is always incredibly impressive. I think the only thing that could have potentially improved the paint apps overall would have been just the dark wash being added to the body, but I still think as a whole, the paint scheme, paint application, everything looks really good. Very smooth transitions. The patterning is as perfectly applied as you could ever ask for, and I think they did a great job in general of choosing the colors to apply to this, making it again look like it absolutely could be the colors of this dinosaur. On top of that, it also has a really nice naturalistic pose. To me, it kind of looks like maybe it's taking a bite to eat from a tree or something, but you know, know, I can't really say for sure what their mindset was going into the pose. However, it is nicely done. I also love the curvatures of the tail, and on top of that, it's very impressive in the size department, which is pretty much the icing on the cake. So if you are interested in grabbing one for yourself, I will include a link in the description to the PNSO, Amazon, and Aliexpress stores where you can purchase this and add it to your collection right now. So make sure you check those links. Definitely pick this figure up, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.